Oh boy.
Oh, nice. That
I don't.
worked.
Someone says I don't know what we're doing. The other person says I don't know how to do
I
this,
got it. I got it.
and I don't know the topping. So
We'll
Yeah.
cover the
gotta,
toppings. They're
we gotta
easy.
freestyle.
That's the easiest part. The hard part is getting everyone to turn their computers on at the same time.
That is definitely the hardest part.
Yeah. All right. Listen up, Lord Internet. It's Big Thursday. You're watching ATP Live. My name's Eris, and we are back. We missed a week, but, 4 out of 5 is not bad. Is that 4 out of 5? No, that's 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 is not bad. You know? Good shit,
Sure.
whatever. Anyway, Ricksta, how's it going, man? Rip, you guys doing all right? Chilling with your shoes off? Rip's in Texas. He's at a Wizard World.
Definitely chilling with my shoes off.
Yeah, good. You guys got a couch in your room, too? That's pretty nice.
Yeah, this is a crazy room. I mean, it's not like super crazy, but there's definitely a big ass couch here.
I
That
feel
looks like
like
a big, giant ass bedroom, like head.
Do
Head
you
thing
guys
in
want
the
to see
back.
Sajam in bed?
Not if he doesn't
No.
want to be seen.
What?
Oh,
Oh,
what a
gross.
dick. Did he?
Look, right there,
oh,
look.
there he is. Damn,
He's in
2
the-
beds.
He's
Oh
in the
shit!
chat.
Come on,
Are
do
you
think
guys
you're sharing
gonna?
a bed?
Are you guys gonna put your beds together on your anniversary?
Oh, you know it, man.
Damn, that's pretty cool.
Like Bill House's parents.
Yeah, I was thinking Lucy and whatever his name is, Ricky.
Ricky? That's
Anyway,
not I think I might have. Whatever.
so okay, good shit. Thursday, there's some. Oh, mouse cursor. That's so annoying. There's some stuff to talk about. So let's talk about it. The one that you were really like, it's on the tip of your gonzo, is the PS4 graphics, right?
Yeah, dude.
So-
I just saw it right now for the first time.
Yeah. I kind of didn't look at it too carefully, but basically, Wonky put up a post showing that gameplay footage from the PS4. This is the way it's advertised. PS4 footage of Tekken 7 is being shown, and when you watch it, it's clearly not as nice as the arcade version. Clearly, like, I could clearly see it the moment I saw it. Ricksta, just a moment ago before the podcast, he turned it on and he was just immediately appalled. I think he said it looks like DR.
Well, at first I
Rip-
said it looks like the PS3. Then you
Right.
said it doesn't look that bad, and then
Yeah.
I said it reminded me of DR.
Right. And Rip also had like a really like shocked, kind of response. So
Yeah, I thought it looked like, in comparison to Tekken 6, I thought it looked like the PSP version of Tekken 6 compared to the PS3 version of Tekken 6.
definitely, I mean, I agree. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how to put it, but it's super clear. Like, it don't look good. And we already talked about this potentially being something that could happen. Will the PC version be the best version? And if so, will the tournament, obviously the tournament version is going to be on PS4, but will the PS4 version be good enough to be tournament worthy in comparison to the PC version in terms of slowdown, in terms of graphics, transitions during stages and rounds? So I just want to talk about this topic. We'll start at the top. Let's start with Ricksta. What do you think about this, Ricky? How are your thoughts when it comes to this topic here?
I don't think there'll be any big issue other than the graphics. I mean, if there's slowdown, I would assume that it's gonna be like on both. I think that they could fuck it up on both of them. So
So you're not worried. To you, it's like, whatever, tournament, it's tournament. I don't need to worry about it.
pretty much, I mean, it's like what can we do? We don't even have the game yet, so it's like
Right.
it's hard to even gauge whether or not there is any slowdown.
There's
but-
also the other unknown factor of the PS4 Pro, right? They're throwing that into the mix too. How
Yes.
will the PS4 Pro affect this whole equation? Rip, what are
Wait.
your thoughts?
Wait, hold on, one
Go
second.
ahead,
One
go
second.
ahead.
I just want to know, when is that actually coming out?
I think November.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think the new PS4, the thin one, is already out. I went to GameStop and they already had it. So that's out already. The PS4 Pro, which is the triple decker, I think comes out holiday season. November, just in time for Christmas. So anyway, go ahead. Rip, what are your thoughts on this
Yeah,
whole thing?
I think that Tekken Gamer had this interview with Michael Murray, and I think in it they asked him about the PS4 Pro, and they said like, they haven't decided what they're doing with it yet. But I think that there is going definitely. I mean, just from the graphics, we can tell that they're optimizing the games differently. So there shouldn't be slowdown in both. I think that's a big reason why we're seeing the graphical difference between the two. But at the same time, that opens the door to potentially having one version of it having more random weird issues than the other version.
So, well, I mean, let's say that again, but less vague. Are you saying that you think the PC version is going to definitely be better? That's what it seems like you're heading towards, right?
Well, you never know. I mean, right now, I mean, I've played the PC version at GameStop
So have
Expo.
I, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like flawless. So
More
and then
flawless than the arcade version, right? We'll get
right,
to that. But it's
yeah,
really, truly more flawless than even flawless, right?
right. So it's the best version currently that I've
Yeah,
played.
yeah.
I mean, I haven't. I mean, did you try it in the arcades in Japan? Did the Japan arcades have
Dude,
slowdown?
I played against that guy, I forget his name, but the Horang player. We were sitting right next to each other, and we had so many issues. We're sitting in the same arcade right next to each other, and people were watching. We were having so many issues. So yeah, it definitely the console version. No, sorry, the PC version is without question the best version. It never has issues, you know. Honestly, I have to say something about this whole issues thing when it comes to the PC version versus the arcade version. You know, I think that freeze that happens on arcades where things kind of sync up for a couple of frames and people drop combos or fuck up punishes. That I think has less to do with online and more to do with the dual camera feature that exists in the arcade version, where you get to pick which side you want, and both players get to do that. So technically, there are two cameramen, one on each side of the fight, one in the foreground and one in the background, right?
Right.
And I think that this freeze, I think that this is a result of the two screens becoming desynced and then having to sync up together again. And because they removed the whole feature, altogether the feature is gone, obviously, right? Because you share a monitor. Just
Right.
removing the feature, I think, would take that out. And that's what seems to have happened. Because, I mean, to me, if this is the way it's going to be, how could you even go back to arcade? Arcade is trash compared to the PC version. It's so hard to even say. The PC version of Tekken is so weird, right? But yeah, it feels like, how are they going to run a world tournament on the arcade cabinet when the PC version is smooth as butter?
Yeah.
Right? So, it's weird. The future is going to be so peculiar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because like I still haven't played it in a real arcade, so I don't know how that is. But yeah, I don't know. It could be the camera thing. I mean, some of the people have said that maybe it's just like the heat, because we don't have them in arcade cabinets. We just kind of have like these two boards sitting underneath the table with like a curtain in front of it,
Mm-hmm.
and all the heat's kind of trapped there. So maybe it's like overheating and causing like random hiccups or some shit. So
I don't
it
think
could be
so.
something like that.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
don't
so.
know what it is. I don't know what the cause is, but the PC version definitely does not have it.
Yeah, at all. 0%, which is crazy. And the PC version looks great and it feels great too, So I don't know. I don't know about that. But, it's just that's an interesting point. What will be the tournament version? Like, you're always at Wednesday Night Fights, right? You're one of the commentators there. They got PCs. Maybe the Wednesday Night Fights tournament version will be the PC version.
They could, but WNF has switched to PS4 since the Capcom Pro Tour is presented by PlayStation 4.
Permanently?
It's a big deal, yeah.
Wow. Huh. Well, like I said, this is the future is so open. It's like weird. I don't even know what's going to happen. Usually we can at least say it's going to be on the PS3 or it's going to be on this console. We don't even know if we need PS Pros. Do we need the Pro or the Fro? What do we got to do here? So it's interesting. There's also no requirements out yet, right, for PC, like the specs you need. Nobody knows that. We
Nobody's
don't.
announced anything.
It's really weird. We're kind of in the fog right now. So anyway, on this topic, before we move on to the next one, anything to mention when it comes to the graphics on PS4?
I just was not expecting it. I mean, you had told me how you spoke to Michael Murray and that he had seen it running on PS4 and that it was running smooth as butter or whatever.
That's what he
And-
said. He sounded confident. He's like, I seen
mean,
it.
It's smooth as butter. It just doesn't look like the
Doesn't
arcade
look like butter. It looks like cottage cheese. No good.
It looks like butter. It's just it's not real butter.
Damn, margarine,
Yeah,
parquet.
dude.
Yikes. Okay, well, I don't know. We'll see about that. Obviously they have time to make it look better and optimize it, right? They have plenty of time. So,
I think that's why it looks the way it does, man.
because it's early?
No, I think it's because they're optimizing it. Like they're like they tried running the arcade version on the PS4. It's like that shit's not gonna work. How do we scale this back to make this shit run 60 frames per second still? And then they had to make some sacrifices. I mean, they could obviously like do other optimizations to make it look better while sacrificing other things, you know. But who knows? Because you remember, even like if you go back to Tekken 3 on PSX, it wasn't arcade perfect. Like arcade had the full 3D stages,
Of course.
but on PSX it had like the parallax like cube look to make it look 3D. So, you know, they could make some kind of sacrifice like that. I mean, I don't think they'll do something like that drastic, but you know, they could tweak other things basically to make it look a little bit better still.
Yeah, it's really disappointing that that's just the news, right? But anyway, okay, moving on, right? They had another big, there was a lot of Tekken news. So another big one is that they came out with a giant balance patch, which has, I mean, you put out a video talking about it. You kind of have fine-tooth combed it a little more than me, at least. Let's go over some of these changes. The big ones are the system changes, right? Backdash has been universalized or normalized. Everyone has the same backdash. Weird. Everyone has the same backwalk. Lots of characters got new properties, new moves. There are new stun animations in the game, counter hit lows. Honestly, I'm not in love with it for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm really getting the MK syndrome from the game right now, where why am I even getting attached to this? Because it might change. I'm also getting the MK syndrome because of some of the changes. Like, for example, Dragunov's down 2. It has a new stun on counter hit, which is a buff, right? So it was buffed. But I don't like it because it looks so peculiar. The new buff is when you counter hit with down 2, they grab their toe, like you stepped on their toe. But the move doesn't look like it should make you do that if it hits your toe, right? So to me, it looks retarded, first of all. And second of all, it feels like it's something that's going to change. It really feels like a placeholder. Like, what is it doing there? It looks so weird. The move is coming from the side and hitting your foot, and you're grabbing it like I hit your foot from above with a stomp, you know? So is this a placeholder? What's going on with this move? And it makes me feel like the whole MK thing, where the game's changing a lot. Lots of things are happening. And when we go to these tournaments, right, and we get the chance to play the game, it's not even the last version. It's not even 2 versions old, but it's like 3 versions old. So it's weird, you know? We're getting the opportunity to play it, and it's so limited. And then when we do get the opportunity to play it, it's 3 versions old, you know? So that's one thing I wanted to get into. So let's start with the version changes. Let's start with that. What are your thoughts on that, Rip? And Rixto, we'll get to you afterwards. Go ahead, Rip.
Well, I mean, I kind of agree with you in that, you know, there's so many changes that I didn't even bother looking through it all. Like, I looked through about, like, the first 1/3 of it, and I realized, like, I'd only scrolled down, like, so much of the page. I was like, oh, shit, fuck this. You know, there's too much. So I kind of gave up on it. And then somebody linked me this video that had, like, all the changes except for, like, Laws and Jacks in there in video form. But it's like in Japanese, and they're like repeating the same move repeatedly, and it's like 2 hours long. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna watch that either. That's too much time commitment to learn all this, and it's probably gonna change again, right? So because of that, it kind of made me feel like, all right, maybe just wait for the final version, and then we'll see what it's like. But I really wanted to keep up with the changes because I feel like that's what you're supposed to do in these games when they're changing if you really want to try to compete in it.
Yeah.
So. You know, I'm probably still going to look through it all, just piece by piece, just take my time with it, because who knows when it'll change again. I feel like this update was way bigger than I ever expected them to update the game in one patch. It feels to me like Tekken 5.1 to DR. It's like the movement got changed, characters got hella changed, some characters got new moves, etc. You know, not as drastic as DR because they added new characters and all this other stuff too, obviously. But it's pretty substantial.
They did add a new character. Master Raven came out with the patch.
Yeah, I guess so. But still, you know what I mean. So it's a massive patch, and I feel like the people who've been playing it in arcades in Japan and Korea or anywhere else around the world where they have it, they're the ones who really are going to get MK syndrome out of it. You know, like luckily for us, I feel like I haven't really been playing the game that much, so you know when it comes out, that's what it's going to be. I mean, for me, it was like. I qualified for the King of Iron Fist tournament 2016 North American qualifier tournament with Law, who didn't have a 3+4/4, and now he has that,
Yeah.
And it used to be Admiral Perry, but it doesn't have that anymore. So like,
Hmm.
and I haven't really gotten to use that much anyway. So it's like I just got to wait for whatever version it's on when I'm playing it and see what I have there and go with that. So it's a really weird time, and basically it just means the game's not done.
Yeah, definitely. You said it right. It's a really weird time. Everything's changing. You qualified with a certain character that no longer exists anymore, and the character that you're going to use at the tournament doesn't exist yet. So
Yes.
it's pretty fucked up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty fucked up equation, So, I mean, what are you going to do? What are your thoughts on the whole thing, Ricky? Go ahead.
Yeah, the MKX syndrome to me is not there yet, but I think that's, like Rip said, we're in America, we haven't had to deal with any of that. Like the people that are really getting screwed over by are obviously the Japanese and the Koreans and Australians, I guess, if they have it. I don't even know if they have it. But, they're the only ones that are really going to be feeling it, right? So, um I don't I'm okay with the patch, I guess. Even though it's like giant and like they're doing a bunch of shit, I feel like that's like almost like what they wanted to do in the beginning, but maybe they
Yeah.
just didn't have enough time or something. So like now
I
they just
mean,
threw this out as a patch. But I feel like the main thing for me, the way I feel about the game is it's gonna be pretty much completed once the console version comes out, and
I
then
think so too.
I don't think they'll touch the game. So for us, it's not gonna be that bad. For the Japanese or Korean players, you might get some drop off there. But I mean, what game hasn't had drop off ever? So
Well, there's a lot of angles to look at this from, right? And you guys seem to think that the Japanese and Korean, the arcade consumer should be really pissed about this, right? But to me, I'm thinking about it like they are the ones, if let's say they have the attitude that Rip has, where if you want to be good at the game, you really should stay on top of this, right? Well, at least those people who are dedicated and have the opportunity, they can stay on top of it. But for someone like Rip or someone like Kane or someone like Jimmy J. Tran or Anakin, even if they travel to every one of the Wizard Worlds, they can't stay on top of it because the game is 3 versions old at all these tournaments. So I would like for, at the very least, because we have a North American tour, because these players are going to struggle to be keeping up with whatever end goal there is to this tour, I'd like for the newest version to be available, or at least one version behind the newest version. I feel like Bob should have already been playable in the US. He's been playable for over a month now, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, over a month is too long for, a character. Because, I don't know, that's how I feel. I'm not a Bob player. I know that Bob players would have a huge advantage if they were to enter in a tournament where he was there, right? So, it's just a matter of principle, I think. We're behind in more ways than just it seems. Because even when we get the game we get is old. It's too old already. It's so old that you're like, I'm not reading the patch notes of the version that's out now, and it's not even close to the version that I could even touch. It's peculiar, right? So it's not something that's irreparable. I think that they can work on it, and I think the timing will start to be better towards the end of the year, hopefully.
I mean,
We'll
we don't
see.
even know what version they're gonna have at Wizard World,
Yeah,
which
right.
is this
So
weekend. So we'll
exactly.
find out.
Yeah, I
Wizard
should
World is
find out
going on
tomorrow.
this weekend. Rip is going to know tomorrow. I'm very curious if they're going to have Bob. That would be nice. That would be crazy if they have Raven too. Master Raven came out the other day too.
If they have that, then that just means that they have the latest version.
That would be sweet if
And
that's what
I
happens.
had heard something about that, like when I found out we didn't have Bob when Bob came out.
Yeah.
I was like, what's up with that? And then I heard someone say like, oh, we're probably just gonna get like a together or something.
Yeah, that would be
but
sweet.
I still haven't heard anything, and like I haven't talked to anyone in like a month either, so it's been a
Yeah.
problem. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I feel like this Tekken tour, like the American players not getting to play at the latest version, etc., it doesn't really matter. Like, and the reason I say that is because we're mainly playing for the North American final. We don't really have to worry about Japanese and Korean players coming in here and competing
Oh, I
against them.
love that, right?
You know what I mean?
That is
So I think-
really
Right.
true.
So I think it kind of keeps the playing field semi-level. Obviously like guys like Anakin and Speedkicks, like who are literally going to every event even after they qualify.
Yeah.
They're obviously going to get more hands-on time with the game than everyone
Right.
else. But like, it is what it is. So I mean, it's kind of like just I know you guys don't have the game. Here's something to tide you over until you can play the console version. I think
Basically.
right, and it's also their first time doing something like this by themselves, basically. So it's all like baby step sort of stuff that's going on right now, and hopefully it's just when the game comes out, everything will kind of come together.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly the point. This is their first time doing stuff like this. So obviously, you are going to run into things where you observe it and you're like, you know what? We can improve on this. It's like, it's the whole idea is clearly a make the best of kind of a bad situation idea, right? Let's get the game in the hands of the people in North America. Let's get them into a tournament series, etc., etc. Well, I mean, yeah, you got to make observations, right? And I don't know how many people agree with me, but I feel like it's hard to care about patch notes when the version is so old, even though it is an equal playing field. It's hard to care about those patch notes.
But at the same time, I don't think they're releasing the patch notes in English even, right? Like we're just getting English translations of them.
Of course, yeah, you're right.
So
But just because they're not out in English doesn't mean they don't exist. They exist. They're there.
Sure.
We know. You can see this is what's going to happen to my character in the future. But that's not what's happened now,
Yeah, just going back to that, just reminded me, first of all, I think it is really cool that Namco's even doing that, putting out the full patch notes for all the changes that they're putting into each character and each system change, etc.
Yeah.
That was something that we had talked about previously when MKX or MK9 first started releasing patches,
Definitely.
right? And then another thing was, just in general about this latest patch, I feel like a lot of the changes they're doing are things that we wanted to see, or just it seems like they're trying to fix a lot of the problems
Sure,
that existed before and address players' concerns. So it really seems like they're listening to community feedback when putting these patch changes in.
It's so funny that you said that because earlier today, Farp, the guy who works at XSplit, the streamer, that guy, he tweeted me a clip from a really old podcast with us three, and the topping was that we think the involvement of community into the development of fighting games is like the worst thing that's ever happened to fighting games. Mm-hmm. That at the moment that fighting game developers decided there should be a connection between the community and the developer is the moment fighting games changed forever, and they're always going to be trash from now on. And we all hella agreed. We were like unanimous, like, yeah, we agree. And it's so interesting because now it's like, good shit, high five, they're fucking listening to the community. Fuck, man, they got us, right? We're high-fiving them for doing something that we thought at that time is a fucking shitty idea, right? I don't think that, though.
I still think that too, but I don't think Namco's ever listened to fucking, ZTS talking to Michael Murray about how while standing 3 with Lee shouldn't be this, plus this, it should be, plus this or whatever. They don't give a shit about that. And they're not listening to that. I don't think, at least I hope that, I don't think they're listening to that.
There you go. You said it right there. I hope, but who do we know? How do we know who they're listening to?
We don't know. But the way I view it is that they're not really taking, Okay, I can't
hold it right there, right? You got to be careful what you say.
You're right.
See,
I don't.
The way I see it is, I think they are taking that sort of feedback and they're running it through their filters to see if it's legitimate concerns or not, right? I think they're trying to implement some of that stuff. I think what we were talking about in the old podcast was shit like, oh, we want to see a vampire bitch named Eliza in the game. Put that shit in, and that we were
talking about actually NRS. The topic was NRS, and it was like up ball, no up ball, people complaining. I think it was actually specifically stemming from
Tom Brady?
The Injustice. You know how everyone was complaining about Deathstroke, and then so they changed him? Remember that?
Yeah.
I think it was something to do with that. Everyone was also complaining about how hard wake-up attacks were to do to get invincibility. And then they changed that, too. They took it from ST-style reversal timing to any old Godspeed could do it timing. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, times change, obviously. People's opinions change, and your opinion has to change with the times, right? So there are a lot of things that I've changed my opinion on because of the times. These are no longer arcade games that we're playing. These are online fighting games that we're playing, And when it gets to our console, it's just a totally different world. It's a new thing. So, I don't know. It's frustrating.
I mean, you
playing
said all
Sub-Zero.
that, but then you're like, these aren't arcade games. I'm like, bitch, we can't play it because it's an arcade game. You
Yeah,
know?
but when
Like,
we get it, it's not going to be an arcade game. You know, it's
Yeah.
going to be this game that we play online with each other, and then we play versus local games in tournaments, right? It's not like the same thing as it was back in the day. So the
It'll be the same
development
thing
process
for a little
is
bit.
different. What?
It'll be the same thing for a little bit come December.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. Round 1 Arcade is going to get Tekken 7 in December, which is weird. It's probably going to be vanilla.
it's probably 7.0.
Who
No,
knows,
Kuma.
man?
Yeah.
Who knows? But, you know, just the fact that we're going to get any Tekken at an arcade's nice. And it's not just our arcade, it's going to be all round ones.
Yeah, it's pretty
So-
weird. It's pretty weird how late it is.
I heard some shit like, Tekken 7 is coming to round 1 in December. I heard Atlanta's getting a round 1 in 2017, like end of next year or some shit. So they're like, hella like, what the hell? We get a round 1. Tekken 7's coming to round 1, but it's not till after the game comes on console for us.
Yeah, this whole thing is funky, man. I don't know. There are so many other things, right? Raven came out too. We didn't talk about that. I feel like if I were a Raven player and I was a little more knowledgeable, she seems like a lot of fun for Raven players. In fact, I watched some, just real quick, I watched some footage, and it looked like the Raven players from previous games who were playing her were being real creative, and like it just seemed intuitive for a Raven player to pick her up and be like, oh, I like the way this feels, just from the matches I was watching. So I like it. I like that. I think Raven players will like the character, but for me, it's like I couldn't care less, right? It's going to be tight to watch people get fucked up by a Master Raven, but I don't even know what I'm looking at. I'm not a Raven player. It's hard to even appreciate all of it, you know?
Yeah, the character looks flashy though. And
Yeah.
the only one minor thing, or not minor thing, it's just one thing I noticed is that it seems like her legs are longer than Raven's legs used to be. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but I know some things I was like, dude, is her legs longer? That's interesting. And what that reminds me of actually is, they made this universal backdash change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every character's backdash is the same, whatever. But doesn't that affect like when characters have their legs further back in the body? Like I don't know about Gigas' stance, but I know like Akuma's not in the game. But if Kuma's in the game and his feet are further back and he has the same size backdash as everyone else, doesn't that mean he has a better backdash than everyone else in some ways? Because you won't be able to hit him with lows.
It would be harder to hit him with lows, yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting.
But I mean, that's, yeah.
I feel like the different variations in backdash size before took those kind of, things into effect or into consideration.
I feel like the translation of everyone having a universal backdash could be a mistranslation. Like, it could be something like the thing that has been made universal is the frames or the something, but
Yeah.
not what we think, right? They made it universal, but in what way did they make it universal? Perhaps only one aspect of it is made universal and not the distance traveled or the speed traveled, you know? So these kinds of things, and also, like, for the billionth time, who knows if that change is even going to last? Kano up ball. That's how I feel. I'm telling you, Dragunov's down 2, even though it's a buff, it's like, it looks so fucking retarded. It, to me, is like, don't even get excited. It's gone. It's already gone. It looks so stupid.
How many moves have that animation? That was the only one I saw.
That's like Kazuya's down back 4 encountered, right?
There are, Kazuya's down back
yeah.
stature kick. There are a few moves in the game that do it, right? But it just is so out of place for that move. It feels like, you know how they added that new animation to the newest version, the one where you get bound upside down, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like originally they were going to do that for that move, and they were like, it's too good. Quick, give it some other animation, and we'll fix it later. And they just threw that on there. Because, I don't know. Because if he got counter hit down 2, which did that upside down bound, he might get while standing 1-2, which would be all kinds of stuff.
Fuck that.
Right? So, I don't know. It just... The game, like I said, the mood I'm in is MK syndrome, where it's like, do I get excited about this? What's the point of getting excited about this? No point.
I felt like that as soon as Log got parried to 3+4.
Bingo. I don't blame you.
There's
I
no
don't
way
blame
this is
you.
gonna stick.
I don't blame you. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. It's hard to get excited about these kinds of patch changes.
That's why you guys should be like me and just have your character removed completely so that you have no character
Yeah,
to be excited
exactly.
about.
You're right about that. And the patch notes are so long, as you said. They even added brand new moves. Brand new moves. Not properties, not damage buff or anything. Brand new. The move didn't exist, so it's crazy.
That's why, like, when Rip said, like, this is like the new, like, this is the real, like, FR. This is like what FR was supposed to be before it turned
could
into
be.
this
Yeah,
thing.
and who knows if we're going to be saying that again soon. This is the real FR, So, yeah, I mean, it's just a weird time. Like we keep referring to. It's a weird time right now. But it's an interesting time if you're following the game in that way and you don't get butthurt about things getting taken away and added and stuff. So, I don't know. It can be pretty cool following the process. Okay, what else? What other toppings? Anything Tekken 7 related, or do we move on to other games?
I think that's all the Tekken 7 stuff I had.
Well, did we talk about the Nordic?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a really weird and interesting one, but Europe has gotten shafted a lot in terms of Tekken 7 over the entire lifespan of the game.
Not even Tekken 7. They got shafted and tagged as well.
Yeah, every Tekken, right? I mean,
Yeah.
So it's like you guys said, like you kind of alluded to earlier. They have been listening to the community, and it looks like they're getting an entire Nordic tour, Northern European. Perhaps I don't know how far it stretches, but you said there are over 30 locations. So
hold on, I'll tell you right now. It says that it's going to be 35 destinations in
crazy.
Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and Finland, starting at Comic-Con Copenhagen, September 24th, and ending the beginning of 2017.
That's perfect. Getting the game in the hands of more players is perfect. Go ahead, Ricky.
No, that's a ton of events.
Yeah.
For September to the beginning of next year. Like, what the hell?
That means there's going to be probably more than one per weekend.
That's like there could be one per weekend. That's nuts.
Yeah. That is pretty
If
good.
there was one per weekend, that's not even like enough. That's like
there has to be doubles. There has to be.
Oh my god.
And like a Wednesday GameStop Expo or something.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
I was thinking maybe beginning of 2017 is like the end of March, and that way you have 3 more months, and then you can do, 35 events, no problem.
I don't know. So the Nordic tour, of course. What else?
Tekken 7 wise, I think that might be
That's it, right? Raven came out, patch notes.
It's
Urien came out today. The breaking news about Urien was if you hold down jab, forward, and fierce before the match starts, he tears off his suit, and you get to fight as him naked, which is great news.
Yeah.
That's
right?
sick.
Isn't it weird? Why did they do it like that? That's super weird, but it's cool. I'm down.
Sajam was telling me that apparently that was like the code to use like before to get like one of his like special outfits or something.
That's how you pick all special outfits in Third Strike.
Yeah,
No,
well there you
Jab,
go.
forward, and fierce.
Makes a lot
All
of
special
sense.
outfits.
Oh, jab, forward, and fierce.
Yeah. Jab,
Okay.
forward, and fierce.
Yeah,
that's how you pick all special colors. And then on console, you would hit start, jab, forward, and fierce. Or maybe select jab, forward, and fierce. And then you get the alternate secret color. So
The console version had a bunch of secret colors.
yeah. Well, anyway, that is a previous code, secret code for a secret color, I guess. But yeah, pretty interesting. I've heard a lot of people saying that they think the character sucks. I don't know if that's true or not, but
It's so early.
yeah, it's very early. But one thing that I can say that I've observed, and I've heard other people say this, and I definitely agree, the characters that came out for the DLC for that game almost seem like they're designed for a totally different game than the launch cast. None of the DLC characters have an invincible, non-meter, reversal attack. And just in general, if you look at that group of characters, they feel like they're designed for their own game, and then the rest of the characters feel like they're designed for their own game. And I heard that guy Javits saying this, and it was really like, wow, that's an interesting observation. And they I don't know. To me, it's pretty clear that they share a lot of properties and traits. That a lot of the problems for all of the DLC characters are shared, it seems. So I think that's an interesting design direction they're going in, and it makes me wonder if they're gonna head in that direction for season 2. Like, are all the characters gonna head towards the way the DLC characters are designed, or what, you know? So really interesting. The new character's out. I hope that people give the character a serious competitive shot, but it's so late in the season. It's almost like, are you going to throw away your chances? I was surprised that Chris G started picking up Guile, and that was like months ago, right? So I don't know what's going to happen with the future of that game, but yeah, it's definitely interesting as a spectator for me. What are your thoughts? Rip, you're knee deep in that scene, right?
Yeah, I mean, here at Wizard World, we don't have the Capcom Pro Tour rules, so people might be able to use them this weekend. It's like,
wow.
It's going to be a tournament in like 2 days, and people are going to be able to use Urien.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. What did you say? Sajam said he's playing them. So
cool.
Hopefully we'll see some Urien action. But yeah, I agree with you. It's late in the season, and I don't think that we're going to see many players really, push to use him as their main going into Capcom Cup coming up in just a few months. So, you never know, though. It is enough time. I think he's like, is there another character after Urien?
That's it.
Yeah, so I think it's actually enough time. Like, you've got 2 months, right, at least, October, November, to learn the character and make him your own before Capcom Cup.
I don't know. I don't know. Go ahead, Ricky.
No, but that's not enough time to qualify for Capcom Cup.
Right.
No, right. I'm talking about we might see it out of the people who qualify at Capcom
already.
Right.
That's that, and to me, that's also pretty risky as well. I mean, 2 months is some time, but it's not enough.
Yeah, I think so. I doubt, and also, especially considering the character is already getting buzz as being kind of weak, at least fundamentally. He may have some hidden shit that people don't know yet, but just as far as fundamentally, he seems kind of to have a strug. But what are your thoughts, Ricky, on Urien in general and etc.?
I legit have not seen like more than like a minute of worth of gameplay from him, even like in story mode or whatever. I don't know shit about the character, so I don't know anything if he's good or not. But he seems interesting. Everyone seems to like him.
His combos are cool.
Yeah,
they scale a lot. That's one thing I don't love about his combos. And I'm looking at him, of course, the way everyone's looking at him, as in comparison to Third Strike. Everyone knew, I already talked to Jimmy J. Tran about this too. It's not even possible for him to be like Third Strike, because that was like 50% mistakes that worked out together, right? Mm-hmm. So they couldn't even design him that way if they wanted to. But he seems like he's interesting. He's got some cool tools. His fireball, allegedly, is a lot better than it ever has been, and it might be like his play style. He could do a lot of things with his fireballs, change the number of hits, trajectory, speed, so who knows? His V-skill seems kind of whatever to me. You do it, and you have to wait till the whole animation ends, and then it gives you armor on your next, I believe, charge move, and it's not even instant armor. So it's weird. I'm waiting. I'm excited to see what like a good player could do with this character, but
we gotta watch Jimmy.
I know, that's exactly what I was thinking. Is he actually going to use him and go in with them?
For sure, 100%.
He told win like a
told
qualifier
me
with them?
As soon as Urien comes out, he says he wants to play me online. He's been pretty. I think he's pretty serious about at least playing him. I don't know if he'll enter tournaments again, but
that would be crazy. If
he's gonna play him for sure. I know that is one of his favorite characters of all time, and I don't blame him. And he was one of the top Urien players in the country. He might have been the best. I don't know, for all I know, but people definitely used to talk about Emphy like he's a nightmare, right? So I'm interested in seeing what he has in store. He's been playing Fang pretty much exclusively up until this point, and I heard that his main training partner is Julio of Echo Fox, and Julio can't beat him, is what I heard. So, and Julio's a sponsored international level, tournament winning, major accomplishing, player, and he can't beat Jimmy J. Tran's Fang. So
Jimmy says he thinks Julio sucks. So.
And this isn't even trash talking. I told Jimmy J. Tran, I told him, hey, if I asked Julio what he thought of you, what would he say? And he said, yeah, he's hella good and I can't beat him. Like, that's what he would say. So, and I don't know. I'm just saying, I have high expectations of Jimmy J. Tran in this game, if he takes it seriously. So, you never know what'll happen. Okay, Street Fighter, Urien. Anything else? Killer Bitch Stink got a patch you wanted to talk about?
Patch. That's all.
Sweet. Fine by me.
Shadow
Sounds
Lords
good.
came out or something, right?
No,
Yeah,
that's
Shadow
all.
Lords came
That's
out.
all. That's all.
Yeah, that's too many words.
Anything else? More on combat. Receiving a patch, I heard. Some buzz. Balance patch.
Never even heard about that. that's
I
that's
heard
all.
people on
You get trolled.
Twitter were talking about how there's buzz about a balance patch for more on combat. I don't know.
I mean, people have been talking about that for a while. I feel like for a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's something that people have been hinting at or whatever. I mean, they still also said PC version is getting MKXL or something, right? Like when that comes,
That reminds
it'll be
me.
all balance patched up.
You know, I talked to Michelangelo. You know our boy Michelangelo, and he did a showcase at the GameStop Expo of Injustice Part 2. And I didn't get a chance to play it, but from the sound of it, it sounds exactly like Injustice Part 1. They got the wager system, it works exactly the same. They got transitions between stages, they work exactly the same. The characters share a lot of the moves that they had in the previous version. I mean, where does the... A lot of people didn't like Injustice Part 1. So them going with exactly the same on all counts.
There's a pop out system.
There's a what?
There's a pop out system.
What's
You can
that?
pop out of combos in different directions.
Oh yeah. Why did he fail to mention that?
But I didn't know what he was doing. I have no idea.
That could be true. He just
Why no
really
one
seemed
was
like it's
doing
the
combos?
same. You know, very similar.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You might be right. We'll see. But I mean, either way, you know, that's a guarantee.
I can't mention, when I was at GameStop Expo the first night, it was like the manager night. The next day was the public show, and at the manager's day, I saw it there, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just play it tomorrow. There's plenty of setups," and then they didn't have it the next day. But when I saw it at the manager show, they had it on these giant projector screens, and I was looking at it from really far away,
Yeah.
and all I could see was like 2 life bars, like that were red mainly, and then I could see the characters, and the stage and background was really dark, so it was really weird to look at. I thought it looked a lot worse there than it did in all the trailers I've been watching. So I hope that was just like a projector kind of issue or something, because it looked like a lot of the lighting was focused on the characters and the life bar, but not on the stage itself. So I hope that's not how it stays as they move forward with that game.
Yeah, I think NRS historically has a really, really hard time with, like, I don't know what the word is, if it's exposition or not, but when you're looking at the screen, there's, like, you can't hear the music, the characters are kind of weird looking and small, it's dark, you know, I don't know, it just doesn't look, maybe to the person who doesn't know what they're looking at, it kind of is hard to watch. I know I've heard Spooky say that he hates streaming NRS games because of the volumes and just how they feel and how they look, and I've heard him complain about that. So yeah, I kind of
NRS games have I can't even tell you what a song from MKX, Injustice, MK9 even sound like.
Not one, right? I mean, how could that be? They have a full soundtrack. We can't even think of a single song.
They gotta hire Mick Gordon, dude.
Yes, whatever they're doing, there's some kind of issue with that. So I don't know. You know, whatever. Injustice.
Can we talk about the best player in the past 24 hours?
Sure. Oh shit, Bushinstyle.
Oh shit.
Man, he lost though.
Yeah,
he fucked up. He had him.
It's okay though. Knowing Bushinstyle, he's gonna talk about this like he won.
He was gonna get interviewed.
Oh, I know. I was so hyped for that interview.
Part. Him getting interviewed would be like the world could see what we're talking about, man. Well, anyway, he has gotten a lot better. I thought he was gonna get blown out, and he was about to beat up that guy.
No, which was interesting too, because Rashid versus Sim is a pretty bad match for Sim. So I honestly thought Bushinstyle, and he pretty much had it. He fucked up in the first set. So
he crumbled. He crumbled bad.
He's playing extremely well though. I gotta just watching him, I'm like he knows what he's doing, so
he played hell yeah. He played way above what anyone believed he was capable of playing, for sure. Like, as I was watching him, my faith in him went from no faith to, wow, this guy got way, way better since the last game. Like, calculated, much more calculated, neutral jump to bait the throw. He was much more calculated now. So, awesome. And he's getting results. That's what he's looking for. good shit. I mean, all around good shit. Everyone was rooting for him. It was pretty cool. Jesse also had never won one either, so yeah, good shit to him too. Everyone's getting better.
So Jesse won the season, and he's going to Brooklyn Beatdown, and he's never been on a plane before.
Oh my god,
that shit is crazy.
Is he afraid of heights?
I'm just saying, like, you know, he hasn't.
He's probably just never traveled.
Yeah. So this is like his opportunity. You know, he gets to go to Brooklyn Beatdown and compete.
I'm glad. I'm really glad he won the last one, because that would have been pretty whack for him to go to qualify, but have never won the Wednesday night fight. So
it was lost to Bushinstyle.
He needed that as like wind in his sails, so he could go over there and fuck shit up. I like that. That's good shit. Good shit. Good job. Congrats. I mean, it was exciting. So, and also the Bushinstyle too. You know, that shit's not easy to do.
Dude.
Okay. Anything else? We've covered a lot of games and topics at this point, but I feel like maybe we're forgetting something.
Japan Cup thing.
Oh yeah, Daigo. Everyone's talking shit about Daigo now. It's like, you know, one day Daigo's back, the next day Daigo's gone. I mean, everyone is so fickle. The internet is just like crazy. Whatever, man.
I feel kind of like that about most of the Street Fighter V tournament results.
Oh,
like,
man.
GamerBee showed up this time, but where's GamerBee been lately?
This is, okay, this is totally a topic that's unrelated, but it just popped in my head and I don't want to forget it. Do I even want to talk about this topic? I don't want to talk about it.
Do it. Be quick.
I heard that that guy Mango got busted. They were talking about it on Ultra Chen.
Yeah.
You heard about that too, right?
What's
So
Mango?
I don't even want to bring up the
Smash?
detail. Yeah, Smash player. I heard he got busted for some shit, right? So the thing that they brought up on their podcast was, all right, this guy got busted. When should we ban his ass from events? Should we ban him? When should we ban people? And all that. That's a crazy topic, right? A little bit too crazy for me to even touch. Because in the end, who gives a shit? Don't be an asshole and you won't have to worry about it, right? And I don't know. Do you ban him? And then it's like, if you ban him, then that's not fair, because it's not the only reason it's anyone's business is because he's famous, right? Who knows how many fucking criminals go to these tournaments that are low tier players? And like, who knows if Bushinstyle is some crazy serial murderer or something, and only now it's gonna come out that he has a history behind him or something. You know,
it's never coming out.
Yeah, well, I don't know. My point is that it's kind of unfair. The idea is unfair.
Wait, what idea is unfair?
Of banning people from events, unless they're a threat, I think. Which, if they're a threat, you know,
it's hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
no shit. They're threatening to your fucking scene. They're threatening.
It's hard. I mean, because this is obviously a very, very slippery slope type of argument, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, I wanted to ban people for less. So,
but for real ban, or
oh, yeah.
For example, right now, like Jin Master's in the SoCal scene, and I personally don't care to even talk to the guy. You know, he's got like so much bad history around him, and like people came up to me at GameStop and were like, "Is this guy allowed to enter?" You know, and I was like, "I don't have a rule that says he's banned."
That's
you know
funny.
What I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So I mean, like, what do you do? You know, like he's been coming to events and stuff, but like there's no ban. You know,
but the thing is, you know, like okay, we joke about being cops and judges and shit, right? I don't know the real truth. It's only hearsay, right? It's only hearsay for me. I really don't know the truth. The people also tell me that Fighting GM is a piece of shit, and he's a great guy as far as I'm concerned. He's never done anything wrong, and I don't have a Facebook, so I don't know what the fuck he's up to on the internet, right? But I'm just saying, you know, this kind of hearsay, it's really like, I don't know. I don't like to get involved with that kind of thing, and also banning someone based on that kind of thing seems kind of, I don't know, harsh to me, right? I mean, you need evidence, right? And you need to be proven guilty, right? And who the fuck's gonna do that, right? Nobody. So, right? I don't know. This whole topic is one of those that I was listening to them talk about it on Ultra Chen, and I was just thinking about it like, damn. How are you going to solve this problem? There's too many problems in one.
I think you're looking at it definitely from someone that's uninformed of all the situations. So you're like the perfect jury person, right? To go in, you haven't heard any, you have no biases either way. So it's like I don't necessarily think you're wrong to have that opinion. I don't know if I would share it, but
What's
it's
your
also,
opinion?
that's the thing. I don't have one. I don't have one to say where I don't think he should be banned or shouldn't be banned. All I think is that the whole situation sucks, and we have to, and there's no concrete evidence pointing either way. So it's like, what can you do?
Yeah, I know that historically there have been professional fighters who have had convicted felonies, right? And they were allowed to fight in the UFC or whatever, I mean, being convicted of a crime doesn't necessarily, I think it's probably legally not necessarily supposed to prevent you from having a job. Like, they can't not hire you because of that. I think, I've heard. I don't know. This is, again, like I said, you're saying that you're looking at this through the eyes of someone who's uninformed. Everyone's uninformed, right?
Right. I mean,
who
I
the
can
fuck
tell
is
you,
a lawyer, right?
Like going back to gymnastics, and I'm pretty sure Bronson banned him from strong style.
Well, yeah, that's on a case-by-case basis.
Right.
Bronson and strong style, what's that? I never heard of
I'm
it.
just saying, like, it's something that a TO can do.
Of course, yeah.
Without evidence. I'm just saying, like, who's to make up the rules? I don't know. By the person running the tournament.
Yeah, that's the conclusion that they came to on Ultra Chen. It really becomes, it's your event, and if you don't want this guy there, it's really up to you to decide at your event what you want and what you don't want. And I can kind of get behind that, because if it's your event, it's kind of like your house, It's like your wedding party, or it's your event, right? So you're paying for the venue. You're inviting everyone there. You have
that don't blow everything up.
You have the right. I think as the tournament operator, you have the right. Maybe it's unfair, but I guess you have the right. It is unfair, though. It really is. I think.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes.
Because, I mean, you could be, as the tournament operator, let's say you're banning, person A for domestic violence, convicted of domestic violence. Person A, you're banned. But person B, C, D, E, and F are also all convicted felons of some other sort that you've never heard of. And you're letting them right through the door. Go right ahead. Everybody go ahead. But this one guy I have heard of, because he's hella good, you're banned. It's really that's what I mean by it being unfair. So
I mean, it's hard to what do you call it, enforce or something.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's one of those kind of slippery situations, but
and that's the price you got to pay for being, quote unquote famous.
You're right about that. That's really true. That is the big.
I mean, there's a certain somebody out there that might have misread this word into saying something else.
Yeah,
and,
definitely
he's
true.
Getting grilled right now by
the wallet.
No, the wallet's fine.
Yeah, not grilled.
I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, if he was just some regular old Rickster saying it accidentally, no one would give a shit. So, it's how it goes.
Yeah, that really is the main lesson. As excuse me, as someone who is, let's say, sponsored or famous or whatever, you kind of have to watch out for that, right? You have to watch out for that kind of thing. And if you don't watch out for that, you get busted. It's one of those things where, you're expected to represent your brand outside of, any time, at any time. It doesn't matter if it's on or off the court, right? So, yeah, that's definitely the lesson to be learned there. I think it's really the focus. It's funny, right? It's fucked up.
It is, man. It's what it is.
Jeez. Okay, all right. Anything else?
I mean, it's getting a little bit late, but we did do 4-man commentary at Vanguard, and it's the first time I'd ever done 4-man commentary. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I've done 3-man commentary, and I might have done 4-man commentary, and if you were to tell me, my instinct is that it's a bad idea. Too many people. So what makes you think it's good?
It was hilarious. Like, I mean, there's interplay between the commentators, obviously, right? But when you have 4 people and it's people who know each other, I think the interplay gets really interesting because you can't really team up on someone when it's one-on-one. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden, when you have 4 people there, it gets really interesting. And the way we divided it up, just like we had like 2 people who kind of did like analysis, 2 people who kind of did color, and then we also like would like go to analysis afterwards of the match. So I thought it worked out really well. It turned into kind of like this commentary and then analyst desk situation.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It sounds like a roundtable discussion.
Right. And so I mean, the hardest part was just doing the play-by-play at first, because the very first couple matches was like, are you talking now? Am I talking now? But like, it was like me, Tasty Steve, Vicious, and Sajam, and I think like we had been hanging out recently anyway, and so when we jumped into it, like we were really fresh and like comfortable being in a conversation with all 4 of each other. Don't laugh at that. So it went really smoothly actually, and it picked up way simpler than I thought it would. But then, the next round we did it. I think me, Sajam, James Chen, and Dr. Stans, and that was not nearly as smoothly. So
yeah,
not as fresh.
Not as fresh.
Not
Gross.
As fresh. So yeah, I think it's an interesting idea, and I think we're gonna see more of it in the future. But I just
You think so? What's the purpose?
It's different, man. People who watched the Vanguard format thing, they really enjoyed it, and I'm talking about the first group we did, right? So it just really depends on the chemistry of the 4 people doing
Most
it together.
certainly, yeah. I think chemistry of 2 people. If 2 people chemistry is that important,
Right.
4 people must be 4 times more important. So yeah, I could see that. The idea, though, for me, I think it's too many people because there isn't that much room. There's hardly even for me room for 2 people sometimes. So I don't know.
I think that's why you guys are 2 different kind of commentators.
Right, yeah, it would be bingo. I think it's something that it depends on your style and it depends on if you're into it. But it could work, especially the idea of the roundtable discussion. I like that idea.
Listen, if there's 2 people that are doing commentary and they both suck, I'd rather them have 4 people, because then at least maybe I can deflect blame less on those 2 that suck and on 4 that suck.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy. The other day, another thing that I saw, Markman was on the Best of 3 show, which I heard is going to be either canceled or discontinued temporarily or something. And
It's changed, if anything.
of some sort, yeah. And during that interview, Z was also on the interview, and they asked a question about how do you feel about Street Fighter V's like legs? Do you think it's in trouble? What do you think is going to happen with the game? They fucked up a lot. What's the future? Blah, blah, blah. And Z works for Twitch as far as I know, right? And his response, after kind of grazing over all the shortcomings, was that all they really want from Street Fighter fans is their eyeballs. He just wants you to watch. He doesn't want your money. He doesn't want you to play. He just wants you to watch. That's all they want. That's all they ask for. And that's like the emphasis. We want you to watch Capcom Pro Tour. It's a spectator thing. This is an esport, etc., right? And it makes sense. He works for Twitch. Twitch wants your eyeballs. They don't want anything but your eyeballs, right? So that all sounds pretty good, right? That sounds pretty good. But what I'm wondering is, if that's the case, I feel like why aren't they focusing more on the presentation, right? I don't know. What do you think about that whole thing? Like, for example, one example is, like commentators, I feel like we've said for a long time, are an extremely important part of, the equation, right? And we've also said many times that we feel like commentators don't really get the attention that maybe they deserve. A lot of times, for example, I did commentary at Evo in that Mandalay Bay Sports Center or whatever, and there was no like rehearsal. There was no like anything. There was nothing. It was just like, be here at this time. Oh, where is Eris? Like 2 minutes before. It was really like not up to something of that level that I think should be, right? And that's not just that tournament. Lots of tournaments aren't up quite there yet. In fact, I've seen Ultra David do a video where he's critiquing this topic, and he's even said that he's going to start taking around some type of makeup or something to kind of make sure he looks presentable on camera, because when he goes to like Red Bull or when he goes to these esports things, they have a makeup room and they powder you up or whatever. They powder your nuts. And not every tournament is going to have nut powder, right? So he needs to be prepared and bring his own nut powder, right? So I'm just, this is something that I'm thinking of. And I think that if Z is really like, if that's what they're about, if they're about the eyeballs, then I think to be more about the eyeballs, you have to start looking towards the number one thing, the communication, the mouth that's talking to the people, the eyeballs you want, the ears that are connected to those eyeballs are what the commentators are talking to. So you want the eyeballs, and for the eyeballs, you got the game and you got the players, right? But those ears come with the eyeballs, and the commentators are really valuable. So I think that that's something that needs to be focused on big time, huge time. And I think it will in the future. Things are changing fast. For example, look at Rip right now. He's got a fucking couch behind him. That's a commentator's couch, right?
It's a commentator's couch.
Right? Nice.
Commentator double bed.
That's
we
right.
have 2 beds in one room. Maybe one day it'll be 1 bed in one room.
Exactly. And
with one person in the room, I should clarify.
That equation didn't work out as well.
Yeah. Keep dreaming, bro.
Sajam's over there like, dude, what the hell just happened?
Yeah,
you got all excited for a second. I know. Jesus.
Look, basically, people like Sajam and yourself and, fighting game commentators are starting to get a lot of work and stuff. And I really love that. And it's going to be, I want it to be more. Let's get more people, more opportunities. And I think it's going to happen that way. Shit's getting huge. Shit's getting crazy huge. These events are out of control. Popular and big, and people are getting work, and I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think people are just starting to realize, hey, shit, commentators are important. We should probably pay these guys, and I can tell you just from, the position I'm in, people are like, so how much do you want to get paid? And we're like, oh. But like, it's not even like that because we know how much we get paid from these other events. And then we tell them, and they're like, that's impossible. Why the fuck would we pay you like that? I'm like, all these other people do it, man. Like, maybe you should consider this as being something that's valuable.
Yeah.
So it's starting now, and even like WNF, it's something that we only started getting paid for in the last year, right? So that's something that we did for 4 or 5 years if you look back at it, right? And we always just jumped on for fun or whatever, shits and giggles, right? But it was always, I think, a lot of what brought more entertainment value to the stream. So
all the entertainment value to the stream. There was a time at Super Arcade where everyone was talking shit about the West Coast commentators. Like, this is trash. Remember that during that era, like, it was when Ultra Chen stopped going to Wednesday Night Fights. But Vaya was still there. What's that?
Yeah, for Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, for Street Fighter 4, exactly. And, that's definitely true. It's like, things have evolved. We did it for several years, and that kind of, all those years of doing that is what spawned the commentators of today, right? And not just on our coast, the people on the East Coast too, like Yipes and people that are being flown around for commentary to different places like Combo Breaker and stuff. This is like, just like anywhere else. It's becoming a thing that exists, right? And it's like it potentially could be a career opportunity or path or something in the future, right? But I think that we need to hurry up if we're going to grow in the way that it looks like we are growing. Like, we're already on ESPN. You gotta follow it up, right? It just seems like the rest has to happen too. It's super important. Commentary is so important. I always say it. And honestly, to be totally honest with you, I'm a little bit less interested in commentary now because I'm not really all about any of the games, right? Tekken 7 is not out yet, and, it's just like I'm in the middle, right? I'm waiting, and I want to be into commentary, but I'm not, right? Not right now. So it's not really just necessarily about me. It's about the people around me. Yourself, Sajam, Tasty Steve, Ultra David, James, all these people, these are people that are like not only friends and colleagues, but people that I've known for all these years, for years and years and years, and we've evolved together from when there wasn't something like a commentator to now where this is like a real job. People get paid for this and flown around for this, and It's nice to see the direction it's going in, but way faster. As soon as they start appreciating the value of it, I think things will blow up like crazy. So we'll see.
It's definitely going in that direction.
Yeah. Next year is going to be wild. Next year is going to be the year, like, of fighting games, I think. So, okay, long show. What do you guys say? Any bitches?
Like an hour.
Oh, yeah. That's too long. What do you... Plug your channels. Ricksta, go ahead. You were playing Persona, right?
Yes, I was playing Persona 4. For like 3 hours, I only did one boss, or not even a boss. I fought one time.
Sick.
There's a lot of lore. Anyways, follow me, Twitch, Twitter, at Ricksteezy, RickSteezy. I will be flushing Persona 4 soon.
Sick. Sounds like a good game. Rip,
I'll probably play it. I don't know.
Yeah, you guys can check me out, twitch.tv/levelupyourgame. My Twitter's REEPAL. Next week, I won't be here for the podcast. I'm going to be down at TwitchCon, and you guys should all check out twitch.tv/playbreakaway.
Oh, shit. Tight. When is that?
I don't know.
They have a countdown.
They have a countdown. That's what the Twitch is like. The stream there is like live. It's got a countdown going. So
Yeah.
Definitely check that out. Twitch.
I don't even... I'm so curious about that. So that's good shit. TwitchCon is coming up, right? Next weekend?
Next weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm here until Monday, and then I'll be back home for Monday Night Tekken. Tuesday, I'm doing Red Bull Proving Grounds online, and then Wednesday, I leave for TwitchCon.
So there's no podcast next week?
Probably not. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a chance I'll be able to do it in a hotel room again, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I don't know what those hours are going to be like.
Yeah.
Can we just do like a live ATP live at TwitchCon?
At TwitchCon? Like
Yeah,
bar one of
just
their stream stations? Oh, shit.
I'm not
take
going.
It over. Yeah, I'm not going either. Fuck that. But I was just saying they should pay us to do it.
They?
Yeah, they. Z.
Who?
He works at Twitch.
Oh, shit. Pay
us.
for our eyeballs? Okay, good shit. All right, follow these guys up, will ya? Bitch callings. Anybody? I know mine because, you know, we talked about it earlier, and Farp sent me that link of how we were talking about the community's involvement in games. And recently, I received an email from the developers of that game, Nio, and they're asking me about, oh, how did you feel about the two? We noticed you played the alpha and the beta. How do you feel about the game? We want to send your remarks to the developer and all this ideas, right? And the game changed so much. Tekken's changing so much. The idea of community involvement, it hits kind of at home because some morons think that I'm involved too with Tekken as well. And sometimes people hit me up on Twitter with some dumb shit, right? And I recently have realized that Twitter gives you the ability to not only block someone so you don't see their tweets, but it prevents them from following you. So I've been addicted to that. Like, the second I see... both guns are out. The second I say... I'm just blasting people. Don't follow me, bitch. Boom. Oh, I love it. So those people are my bitch callings. Just because you can connect with people doesn't mean you should. I mean, if you have something interesting to say or some legitimate question, maybe. But you should really leave Harada alone. There's a reason this guy puts on t-shirts that say, don't ask me shit. Right?
Email Harada.
Yeah, right. And it's like, that's the joke, right? Email Harada. The reason why we even make that joke is because everyone wants to email Harada. It's like the whole joke is, it's a fucking joke, beginning to end, basically. Everyone goes to Harada so much that people blame me for taking out Marduk, right? It's the dumbest fucking equation ever, you know? Just because you are connected to people by the internet doesn't mean you should get involved with them unless you have some relevant shit to say, you know? It's fucking whack. I'm gonna shoot you on Twitter. You know? You're up.
I don't have one.
You cannot have one.
I don't have one. Do I have a bitch?
Do I have a bitch?
He sacrificed himself to be your bitch?
Sajam just said he's my bitch.
Damn.
Damn, you guys are really gonna push those two beds together, huh?
Shit, damn.
One bed in future events.
Just the couch. Ricksta.
Gross.
Rip's a bitch for not having a bitch calling ever.
Oh,
Oh shit! KO! Damn, the camera's knocked out too. Oh shit! Are you guys gonna pillow fight in your underwear? Damn, that was crazy.
Really good.
That spooked me.
Look, man, this guy obviously wants to pillow fight.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's in his underwear over there.
I believe it.
Can't
I believe
show
it.
you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Ricksta, do you have a bitch calling? Can I get out of here?
My bitch calling was the commentators at the CPT something or other Tokyo something. Those guys were whack.
Cameraman or whatever?
Oh, cameraman, his biggest issue is this is critiquing. It's not even he's bad. It's just one thing is that he does is that like he'll be talking and then you could tell like Lewis or whoever's doing the like saying stuff in the ear will say something like this match come up next and he'll be like he'll say something and
It's
Okay,
so
now-
hard, dude. I'm telling you, it's so fucking hard sometimes. You're in the middle of a thought, you're saying your shit, and then in your ear, it's like, we're gonna be cutting to a commercial by Gaming Generation in 5, 4, and I'm in the middle of saying up forward 3 plus 4 is minus 12, and he's saying 5, 4. You know, it's hard. It can be tough.
Yeah,
you
I know it's tough, but it's like you like at some point you just gotta like find a way to
make
only
it
listen
happen.
with one ear or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, that's my whole point. Good commentators, you know, pasa la feria way. There's a reason they're good commentators and they're being flown around. It's because they can get through shit like that without pausing like a goofball.
Yeah, the thing is, I want cameraman to be good because he's probably the only one that can do all the commentary for the English streams in like the Japan, Singapore, all those crazy areas that no one can fly out to. So
That's what I'm saying. What they should do is instead of making someone who perhaps is not up to the level do it, they should make sure that there are commentators there. Get them over there. You know, I mean, just get them over there. Simple as that. You know, if they will. In the future, they'll realize how important commentators are. You know, I mean, it's so important. Get them over there. Put them on an airplane. There's a million people they could pick. You know, talented. Thankfully, there are a lot of really talented commentators in the fighting game scene. And even the ones that get a lot of hate from the fighting game scene are generally pretty talented. It's just they get a lot of hate. They could get through it, though, in one piece. You know, which is, it's not what you get a lot of the time when you don't pay attention to that kind of shit. So, anyway, okay. Is that it?
yes, shout out to all my ninja daggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go give Sajam a dagger.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh. Turn the stream off.
Gross.
And also turn off your camera too. I don't need to see that.
See you guys.
Adios.